Good afternoon and welcome to Moments with Pastor E. This is Pastor Idris coming to you from the beautiful, beautiful city of Randolph, Massachusetts. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you. Father, we just thank you for this moment in time. Thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for all your benefits. I pray that whatever we discuss this evening would be a blessing to someone. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. So welcome again. For those of you who are coming on by way of Facebook, please, I'm asking you to share, tag someone, because we are going to be speaking about something this evening that is very important, something you need to know. If you've never heard before, you need to hear, and I'm sure this topic is a well-known one. So, just share and like, and, so that others would come on to the show. So, it is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And just the other day, I heard a woman, she was doing a documentary, and she coined the word BAM, BHAM, and she said we should stop calling this thing Breast Cancer Awareness Month and call it Breast Health Awareness Month, which is putting a positive spin on it, talk about our breast health as opposed to breast cancer. But, it all intertwines, so, whatever you want to say. If you want to say BAM, you can go right ahead and say BAM. If you want to say Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that's fine. We are not holding you to anything. So as you know, for this entire month, Moments with Pastor E has been featuring, people and, notes on breast cancer, which is so important. I read a survey that says in 2022, 290,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. 290,000, which is a very, very staggering number. And in 2019, the study that's available from that time, it was 264,121 new cases of breast cancer were reported among women. And of that number, 42,280 women died of this cancer. Now, cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States. The leading cause of death in women is heart disease, so cardiovascular disease. And so breast cancer is right up there. So it is something that we need to pay special attention to. And I want to, bring this alive, and aware, so that people would understand the importance. So with me this afternoon is the lovely Miss Angela Gentili. She is a co-worker of mine, my coffee buddy. We share coffee every day. She keeps me, filled up with coffee. I think it was yesterday or the day before, she brought in a whole thing of Keurig cups. She bought a Keurig, and, so we commiserate over coffee. So, Angela, welcome.
Thank you, Edith.
It's so good to have you. So very good to have you. And you may be wondering, okay, why is Angela here? Well, Angela is one of those fortunate women. What year were you diagnosed?
Actually, Idris, I had breast cancer twice in my life, in 2006 and 2018.
See, she's twice survived breast cancer. So I thought it was important to bring on somebody with that experience so that you could understand the importance of screening, the importance of taking care of your breast health. And as all of you know that follow my show, my undergirding scripture is, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health as your soul prospereth. That's in 3rd John. Now, breast health is good health, okay? I just read you the statistics, which is staggering. And so we want to pay special attention to our breast health. So Angela is here, and she's going to walk us through her journey. Now, as I mentioned last week, and you all know this, early detection is what saves lives. The earlier you get detected, the better it is for you. And how do you get detected? Is by going and being screened. Some of you have never done a mammogram in your life. Some of you have done but have stopped. My encouragement to you this evening is to make this part of your routine. So Angela, welcome again.
Pastor E, thank you for having me today.
Oh,
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Oh, yes. See how beautiful she is? So Angela, leading up to your first diagnosis, how did this all come about?
Well, what happened is I was scheduled for an appointment, and I postponed it for whatever reason. This was back in 2006. And then I had another appointment with a physician, and at the end of our conversation, she had called me to let me know that everything came out great. It was just a normal physical. Mm-hmm. She asked me if I had had my mammogram. At this time, I was 44 years old, and I said, you know, I just postponed it. I actually have to call back and give them an actual new date. She goes, you need to do that right away.
Oh, wow.
It's very important. So my next phone call was to make an appointment to get a mammogram. So I went not thinking of it, anything of it.
Right.
I went home and I got a phone call, and they were asking me to go back for more pictures. So that's odd. So I went, and they said what happened is we see what they call calcifications. They're calcium deposits. Mm-hmm. And I said, is this normal? And they said, yes. We have calcium deposits all over our body.
Yeah.
But when we see them in a woman's breast, and they're kind of closer together, and they're not spread out like a hand, and they're kind of close together, we're afraid that we might be looking at a small mass.
Wow.
I said, okay. At that time, my husband was alive. And so I told him, I'm going to go by myself. There's no need to panic. There's no breast cancer in my family. So I went. And they were doing picture after picture. And I said, there's something wrong here. But I just said, nope, keep your head up. It's okay. You'll be fine. And then they said, your husband is here. And I said, my husband is here. I told him to stay home. Well, the sweetheart that he was, he came in and they said, we're going to have him sit here while we're explaining why we have you here today, so that you don't have to keep explaining it to him when you get home.
Right, right.
And he was a nervous wreck, and he came in and they said exactly what they had told me. We are doing these pictures just to make sure that you don't have breast cancer.
Uh-huh.
So then they called again and they said, we're going to send you for a biopsy, because the calcifications are a little closer together than are considered normal.
Okay.
It's okay. I went for the biopsy. And then I got a phone call, and they said, you have DCIS. And I said, what is that? And they called me in the middle of a workday.
Wow.
And I said, I don't understand what you're saying. What is DCIS? They said, oh, you have stage 0 breast cancer. I said, I have what? Oh my God.
So what was that moment like when you heard you have breast cancer? What was that like?
I didn't, Pastor Riyadh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the word stage 0. I just heard cancer.
Yeah.
I literally felt the blood drain from my head down. My hands were shaking. I called my husband. I heard him drop the phone.
Wow.
And I said, it's going to be okay, because I asked the doctor, what does this mean? He said, man, what you have, DCIS is ductal carcinoma in situ. That's cancer of the milk duct. In situ means to stay in one place. He said it's 100% curable.
Look at you. You studied all this stuff.
I
huh?
did.
So you know all the acronyms and all
Oh,
this
I
stuff.
did. I went
my
home and
goodness.
we looked it up. I went home to my very strong construction worker husband, sitting on the chair crying his eyes out. So I kept trying to console him, and I said, the only thing I can do is call the doctor's office and have the doctor explain this to him. So she did. She was lovely, and she did.
So you said you had put off the appointment. How long was it that you put it off for?
The first appointment I was supposed to go to was not only the first appointment that I had postponed. It was probably about the third time. Oh, yeah. And so finally, as soon as I got off the phone with her, I made the appointment and I went. Thank God I did.
Aren't you happy that you did?
Oh, yes, because I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah. And see, that's what
You
we're
know.
saying. Early detection
Is the cure.
is everything. Well, not everything, because sometimes people get, diagnosed and it
Correct.
doesn't turn out to be,
No, I
great.
was, exactly. I was lucky I dodged a bullet.
Yes. Yes.
So I went and I had what they call a lumpectomy. And that's where they go in, they take out the cancer, and then they take out some of the tissue surrounding the cancer. And then they call you after it goes to their lab, and they told me the margins were clean.
Okay.
The next step was radiation treatment.
So how many sessions of radiation did you have?
I went through 33 radiation treatments.
Oh my goodness.
And I asked why I had to go through so many, and they said because we like to do what we call overkill. So they also told me it was going to make me very tired, and to make arrangements. Luckily, I still had my husband, for him to do the food shopping, which was dangerous because you don't send a man food shopping. So
They buy everything.
everything except for
Except
what's
what
on
you
the
want.
list. So I got through it, thank God. The weird thing about it is I was burning, and then I tanned, very dark. And I went to the doctor and I said, is this normal? He said, no, we think because of your Italian heritage, you're turning darker than the average woman.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So they had to redirect the radiation because it was literally burning me.
Yeah.
Where it was getting hard to wear a bra.
Oh, wow.
It was painful. So I made it through, and the doctor put me on tamoxifen, which is a common medication for breast cancer, and I was on that for 5 years.
Wow. Well, today I'm actually wearing
Thank you.
a bracelet
That I gave you.
that you gave me in honor of you. It
Thank
says
you.
hope and strength,
Yes.
and so and courage. So I'll be wearing it till the end of the month.
Oh.
And I, as I mentioned last week, this is very near and dear to my heart because I've known people that were diagnosed with cancer. Some are here with us, some are not. And I know people that I'm close to who are still going through the process. And so for me, it really hits home. And I want it to hit home to every woman. Now, you said you were diagnosed at 44.
Correct.
And I read a study that says every woman should start getting their mammograms at 50. But what I was explaining to people last week is that they're also saying that based on your family history, you really should start at 40.
Yes.
And if your mom had cancer, you should be starting even earlier.
Earlier, correct.
Because the gene is running around somewhere
Yes.
there. So
Yes.
you have to be very, very, very careful. Now, so you dodged it once.
Actually,
Like that wasn't enough.
I got it back again.
Well, Angela, you could have left that alone. But you reached out and grabbed this thing again, huh?
Yes, which I was totally shocked.
Oh my goodness.
Pastor E, I was totally shocked.
So you were diagnosed first,
In 2006.
2006, radiation, all that stuff, and then it came back in the
Yes.
other breast.
It did. And actually, it was a new cancer. So once I had stopped my radiation and I went to my doctor, at the time I was smoking.
Oh.
And she said, you know, Angela, you beat breast cancer. Let's get you off those cigarettes because you don't even want to try to conquer lung cancer. So, and, you know, it was phenomenal that year. It was terrible because that same year, my oldest brother was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Wow.
And so I told her I was thinking about going on the medication called Chantix. She said, I'll give you anything you want as long as you come off. And luckily, knock on wood, it worked for me.
Yeah.
And I came off the cigarettes. So in 2018, I went for my routine mammogram 12 years later. And they said, Angela, we need more pictures. So, okay. So the weird thing was, they had sent me home after I went for my initial mammogram. And then I said, you know, they didn't call me, so everything must be good. I'll just wait for my letter. I was getting ready for work a couple of days later, and something told me, check your house phone messages. And I did, and it's a good thing I did, because on the message at home, it said, Angela, we need more pictures. I said, oh boy. I don't know.
Here we go again.
What told me to, you know, check my home phone. So I did. I went in, and they came out, and they said, we're going to do another biopsy. Once they said that, I said,
Okay.
something's wrong. They came in, or actually the doctor called me and said, Angela, you have the same thing. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I did everything I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So then I started studying again, and I looked it up, and I saw something that I had missed that said, once you've had DCIS, your chances of getting it again are high.
Oh, wow.
Higher than the average woman. I said, geez, I never knew this. So I went back to my breast cancer doctor. Wonderful person. Her name was Dr. Faina Naklis. And she's from the Faulkner Breast Center. And she said, Angela, you have the same thing. Luckily, it's stage 0 again. But this time we're gonna do the same thing. And I said, but if I got it back again, maybe I should have double mastectomies. She said, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your choice. But you did so well. Well, she said the first time with the lumpectomy and the radiation treatments. So I went home and I said, I want to think about it. So I weighed all the pros and cons, and I said, well, she did say it would go well again. But this time I was alone because I had lost my husband.
Yeah.
So.
And that was really hard for you at that time.
Yes.
You know, getting this diagnosis all by yourself.
Yes.
Nobody to
Yes.
nobody to comfort you, nobody to
No,
share the
exactly.
news. You know what I mean?
Correct. And I said, well, I think I'm going to go with what the doctor says because, again, I am alone. I have no one to go out and do, even though I have great friends, to do my food shopping.
Yeah.
And so I chose to do it again. And this time around, my lumpectomy came back, and they still felt that they hadn't got it all. I said, oh boy, this is crazy. So luckily my brother he was sweet enough to get up early and take me not once but twice to the hospital at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
And they said, your levels are a little higher than we like. So again, they went in, they called it a reincision. And they called me and said, we got it all.
Good. And so did you have radiation after?
I did. I had another 33 treatments of radiation.
Okay.
At this time now, I'm 12 years older.
Yes.
And I was 56 years old. So I went early in the morning, which was tough. Radiation, speaking for myself, it started to hit me and make me so tired after a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I pushed myself and I kept going to work because it made me feel normal. But there was always that fear in the back of my mind. Once you wake up from surgery, you don't know what they're going to find.
Right.
You know, they could go in deeper and say,
Right.
wow, we didn't even see that there was something more. Thank God there wasn't, but it still took a lot out of
So
me.
how are you doing today?
Today, I'm doing very well. I have one more year of the drug Raloxifene. They put that.
Oh, they
changed my
okay,
medication
okay.
to Raloxifene. A lot less side effects,
Okay.
and I'm doing very well.
Oh, good. Well, you come to work every day.
Come to work every day,
You know, and
but my message to other women is don't skip your mammograms. Don't skip any of your cancer screenings, because catching it early is the cure. You want to be told if you have cancer, you don't want to sit here, oh my goodness, you have stage 4.
right.
Then you'll say, why didn't I go to my appointment? It's a simple screening.
Yeah.
You're in and you're out. And it's so important. I can't stress how important it is.
That's right. And so for every woman, don't say, well, my family doesn't have a history. I don't know of anybody in my family that had breast cancer. Well, you could be the very first, because your body is your body. And I always say to folks, look at your body as a volcano.
Right.
Big, massive thing. And it lies dormant, just as all these bad cells are running around in our bodies. We feel okay. You know, we go to
you never
work,
know.
we do whatever we want to do. But then, all of a sudden, something erupts.
That's right.
And it's, like you say, it could be stage 3, could be stage 4 cancer. If you catch it at stage 0, you have a better chance of surviving than if you're down to stage 4, where it metastasizes, goes into different parts of your body, into your lymph nodes, into your bones, it spreads all over. And at that point, there is nothing
There's nothing they
medical
can do.
science can do for you.
No, and that's the worst word you could ever hear is there's nothing else we can do for you.
Imagine that.
No, I can't.
That's like a death sentence.
It is a death
You know,
sentence,
because
yes.
literally they're telling you, just go home, get your house in order, because we can't do anything for
Right,
you.
and just wait to die.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
Yeah. So I you know, I brought Angela on because, you know, she is such a good example. She stopped smoking. Because as we talked about last week, there are things that you can do to avoid breast cancer, or cancer on a whole. So you want to be eating right. Some of us don't. But we want to stay away from fatty foods and, you know, lots of salt. And what I found out just recently is that sugar
Yes,
is a
that's right.
breeding ground for cancer.
Yes, it is.
So those of us, especially those of us from the islands, I'm an island girl, we love sugar and we love salt.
Yes.
But
I do
for
too.
the good of your health, you have to watch your sugar portions. I mean, there are good alternatives out there. Like, I don't use sugar. I use agave. You may not like it, or some people like Splendor, some people like Equal. Whatever your choice is, you know, get a healthy alternative to sugar, because sugar is, in fact, a breeding ground for cancer. And we can't stress enough on this show that as women, the best care we can get, my mom used to say that, is what we take of ourselves.
Absolutely right.
So if you've never done a mammogram,
Go.
please pick up the phone and make an appointment. It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it is.
I went, you don't know this, Angela, but a few years ago I had a screening done. And they called me in a couple of days or a week later and said, there's something that we saw that we don't like. So you have to come back in. Well, I was scared to death. Because when you hear come back in, right, that was
You're scared.
you're scared.
Yeah, everything stops.
Everything stops. So I said, okay. So I go back in, and it was a really, really, really grueling examination, because now they want to make sure, they want to press in and make sure that there are no lumps
Yes.
and bumps and whatever. And I have to be honest. If I could be honest, because I'm not sitting here on a soapbox making people to believe that I did everything right. So that scared me. I did not want to go back. And for a few years, I did not go back because it hurt so badly. I was scared to death. But then when I realized, okay, so, okay, that was then. So the rest of your life, you're going to just do what? And so I started again. And so I'm doing my mammograms yearly. And especially if you're over a certain age, you have to take care of this body because we only get to come through here one time.
That's right.
One time. We don't do it twice. So, Angela, since you're the poster child for breast cancer, I want you to look into the camera and talk to women who are on the fringes, women who are afraid to go get screening done, women who just blow it off and decide, I'm not doing that. It's not necessary. You speak to the women out there because you best can speak to them.
Again, my message is, it is so important to go for your mammograms. It is so important to go for all your cancer screenings, because if you don't, you are taking the chance of losing your own life. I also want to add that when I was diagnosed for the second time, I just couldn't understand because breast cancer wasn't anywhere in my family. There was no history of it. My mom, my grandmother, my aunts, I asked everybody, especially the second time. I called everyone, and it was nowhere. So I went to my doctor, and she said, there's no other test we can do except for the BRCA1 and 2 test.
Yes.
So I said to her, you know, I really want to find out where this came from.
Can you explain what that is?
Now, BRCA1 and 2 is they give you tubes, and they give you some mouthwash. You swish it around your mouth, and you literally spit into the tubes. And what they're doing is they're checking to see if you have what they call the mutant cancer gene. And they sent it off to a lab, and I came back negative.
Which means you didn't have that gene.
I did not have the gene, which was very baffling because, again, where is this coming from? That I had it not once, but twice. And it came back the second time in the other breast, which was a totally new cancer. And remind you that I did stop smoking. I did everything they told me to do. So she also told me if it had come back positive, I would have had to have double mastectomies and a hysterectomy.
Wow.
Which to this day I'm still contemplating having double mastectomies because of the fact that it did come back a second time, and because of my history, I could get it again. And I really, you know, to me, 3 times you're out. That's it. 3 strikes you're out. I'm not going to go through it again. So my message is clearly, take the time, go for your mammograms, go for all your cancer screenings, because it will save your life.
Oh, wonderful. Well said, Angela. And the other thing is, before you even go for your screening, while you're waiting to be screened, you need to do self-examination. Because like I said to you last week, it was during a time I was doing self-examination, I found some lumps. I found, but they were mobile. They were running around.
Right.
And
those are the ones you don't have to worry about.
Right. That's what the doctor said to me. But I went and got a biopsy, and they said, you know, when they're stationary, when they don't move, that is the dangerous kind. And so they did a biopsy, and you know, everything came back fine. But the breast surgeon said to me, you can live with those. You don't have to take those out because they not right, Angela. Because I said to her, no, you know me.
Take them out.
I said, I wasn't born with these.
I would have did the same thing. Take them out.
They were never there. I just discovered them. So I would like you, please, thank you very much, to take them out.
I don't blame you.
You know what she was worried about? One of the things she worried about, oh, you're going to have a scar.
Who cares?
I said...
I have 2.
I said, I'd rather have the scar than end up with breast cancer. Because you just never know. Okay, she says, okay, let them stay, you know, no harm done. But no, I don't know what these could develop into.
That's exactly right.
And I didn't want to take the chance. So down the road, I regret that I didn't. And it was a day surgery. It was simple. It was
simple.
boom, boom, and I was done. So do your self-examination. If you feel anything abnormal
at all,
get to your doctor. Don't chalk it up to, oh, well, I have dense tissues, blah, blah, blah. You don't know because you're not a doctor.
Can I add also that
Sure.
it's not only doing self-examinations, but stand in front of the mirror and look at your breasts and watch to make sure that one doesn't look more enlarged than the other. There isn't any redness, and especially if you have any type of leakage, you need to call your doctor right away.
Yes.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yes.
No one wants to go in to have a mammogram and have them clamp down on your breast. But you know what? It takes 2 seconds. And 2 seconds can save the rest of your life.
Yes. Good point, because that's one of the things that I research. If you have nipple discharge.
Yes.
You've seen stuff coming out of you. You don't know your past breastfeeding age, especially if you have.
Exactly.
And you see strange mucus or, whatever.
It's not
Please, that's abnormal.
That's right.
And you have to take care of that. Don't just take it for granted. Just do it. It's an easy exam, trust me, unless they see something and you have to go back in and they
clamp
really
down
have
a little
to
bit
clamp
more.
down a little more.
It's okay. At that point, you don't care if how hard they clamp.
Exactly.
You're just saying, help me. What are you seeing?
Yes, clamp me if you want to, because I'd rather know what's going on than not to know. And so, so many thousands of women, like they said, 290,000 women are going to be diagnosed this year alone. And it's the second leading cause of death in women, second to cardiac issues. Now, and you can do something about it. You can prevent it. I'm not saying, everybody, because there's some people that have gone to the doctor, just regularly, and what happens in between time, something in between screens, something happens. But that's why you do your examinations, because there's no guarantee that because you did a mammogram this year that you're free till next year. Something can happen between that time. So you want to be watchful and mindful about, listen to your body.
Exactly.
Right?
And take care of yourself.
And take care of yourself, because you know what? Our body speaks to us.
It does.
I can tell you some days when I wake up and I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling like when I went to bed. Something is off.
Right.
So as women, we have to pay special attention to our bodies.
That's right. We do.
It's Breast Health Awareness Month. Let us pay attention to our breasts, because we look really nice in our clothes, we
do.
But these things can cause us a lot of grief if we're not paying attention. So, Angela, believe it or not, we have come to the end. I want to give you the final word. If there's anything else you want to say, you look into the camera and say it right now.
Again, I'm going to say it again. I cannot push this any harder than I have. But please go for your mammograms. Please go for all your cancer screenings. This year alone, I have 3 screenings coming up: breast, colonoscopy, and gynecological. But, it's okay, because as much as I don't want to go to these, I have to go, because then I'm 60 years old, and I'm proud to say it. I'm planning on living
You look
a whole
good, girl.
lot longer. Thank you. And if I didn't go for my cancer screenings, again, I would not be sitting here today.
Yes.
Pastor E, thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And Angela is one of my dear friends, and I'm so glad that, she beat this thing, Some people are not that fortunate to sit here and say, I beat cancer not once, but twice. And, thank God although she, didn't do what she was supposed to do in the very beginning, she kept postponing. Finally, she got it done. Don't let that be your story. Just go and get it done, because it will definitely save your life. And like Angela just said, she's going for a colonoscopy, this, that. Earlier this year, I did my colonoscopy. These are things that you need to take care of.
Yes.
We're not going to veer too much into that. We're going to stay on breast cancer. So take care of your breast health, and I can assure you, you will live a long, productive life.
Yes, you will.
Bear the little pinch when you go into, take those films, but you will be all right.
Yes.
So thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Pastor, for having me.
I really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming, and I hope that this has stirred something in some women, that you can survive, you can live, and you can beat this thing, but you have to be proactive.
That's right.
So if you are saying, oh, I don't need it, Pastor E is going to tell you, yes, you do. Take care of yourselves, and you will be around to see your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and many generations. So until next Saturday at this time, 3 p.m., this is Pastor E saying, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. I love you. God bless. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.